Thank you very much, Chair. CFO, I saw when we were busy with critical things of students. I can tell you now, students do not have water in some parts of the campuses and are expected to attend school, classes. Two, I'm told, and I can tell you that 4% of increase on transportation of students is quite concerning because the majority of the students are the motive forces. They are benefiting from NSFAS. And I want to ask you a personal question. Are you corrupt?
I'm not, Chair.
Okay, I want to ask you a question now. Can you provide an explanation regarding the allegations of receiving kickbacks from contractors, specifically in relation to payment stalling? Are you stalling payments?
Chair, through you, we have never, to my knowledge, we have never installed any payments. In fact, we run a payment run every Thursday, and any invoices that are due on that day, they are paid. Our payment regime is such that we make payments on a weekly basis, and we have got no exception where the invoices have been received.
VC, are you aware of the allegations of corruption of the chair of council and the CFO? Can you press the mic, please, and come forward?
I'm aware of the anonymous letter that mentioned that's topped off the allegations.
What did you do about it as you entered?
Well, that investigation is within the council. It is within the council is doing with it. And
But you said to us that everything is fine. No, wait.
You asked me what have I done.
Ma'am, wait. I'm going to assist you. You said to us that everything is fine. You never raised this issue of allegations of corruptions when you're making presentations. Hence, I'm asking to you, what did you do immediately? The first thing you're supposed to do was to come and tell us about those allegations and what you're going to do with them. You said to us everything is fine, isn't it? When you presented, you said to us everything is fine. Am I lying?
I did not say to you everything is fine. I said to you, whilst we may be having challenges and other issues, but there are good things that we are doing. That's what my presentation was about.
When you come here in high-level parliament, you come and directly make reflections on key issues of allegations that affect the students and affects your university. Are you aware of that? You must reflect on them. Deputy Chair, you are the Deputy Chair of Council, ma'am.
Yes.
We are aware of your allegations of the Chairperson of Council, and what did you do about them?
Yes, we are aware of the allegations that have been labeled through the CFO and the Chair of Council through anonymous letters that we have received, which were tabled in Council. We have appointed an investigator, and the investigation team is almost complete with their report. It's going to be tabled on the 10th, and thereafter we will then inform this committee in terms of the Council decision
So
on the report.
During the investigation, what did you do to the Chair? Was the Chair proceeding with the work, or what was happening?
Yes, the Chair was proceeding with the work because remember, you can't just act on the allegations without having proved them, at least having some investigation done. Because the anonymous person, you see the difficulty with the anonymous report is that the anonymous person doesn't come forward to actually give you more information of what is in the letter. Hence, we had to appoint an investigator then. So once then we receive the report of the investigator, that's when we are going to act.
How will you prohibit that they don't interfere because they have been alleged that they're interfering? What measures have you put in place?
Come again, sorry.
How will you make sure that they don't interfere in investigations? And what measures have you put in place to mitigate the fact that these are the allegations that are very serious, dealing with finance of the institution, team up with the CFO, and these are the issues that day and day they are stealing payments, and students don't have water, students don't have access to the university. And I can tell you today, even the library, there are no shelves. The library has been half painted and it's not yet complete. I wanted to understand, how are you making sure that these allegations are going to make sure that there's no interference in between the two CFO and the Chair of Council?
The allegations, Honourable Member, are being done by an independent person. And on those allegations, currently, we are sure that the university is running properly until we get that report. Our hands are tied. Until we get that report, then we'll act.
What mitigating factors do you ensure us that they will not interfere in the process of that, on top of the allegations? There are alleged of serious financial corruptions. There are alleged of meeting projects by contractors. And students don't have water. The library is not yet done for most 3 years, 4 years. I want to pose a question to the CFO. I want to get a surety that indeed as a council you are independent, because I can see there's a serious jolly relationship. And this is very wholly in between management and council. That's why you can't play your oversight role.
No, that's not correct, Honorable Member. That's not correct. We do not interfere in the operations of management. We just had to interfere when there were delays in the projects. Hence, today, we have been able to fast-track the projects, and we are having 1,000 beds opened on the 13th of June.
Okay. On top of that, why didn't you involve labor in the appointment of the VC?
Unfortunately, that one is guided by policies of the university. It has been communicated to management through the Secretary of Council, which is the registrar, that unfortunately the policies didn't allow. It's not that we cannot review the policies, but unfortunately we cannot do anything outside the policy, because again we'll come to this committee and be blamed. So there's a process that is now started by the chairperson of Secretary of Council to say, let's look at the policies, benchmark with other universities, see what they are doing, and review our policies.
As a conscious citizen of South Africa, appointed to spearhead council, do you think it's important to exclude such an important stakeholder called the labor unions, who are workers, who are an integral part of the institution, in a critical part of appointing a VC? Do you think it's fair for you to say that it's because they're an integral part of this institution? In any country, we are expected labor to take part of the decision in terms of a management decision. And you as council, you preside over to do what? To make sure that there's unity in between the two, and they can work together so they're able to take the university forward. Do you think it's fair if labor is not involved?
Honorable Chair, I'm not going to say it's fair or unfair. All I'm going to say is that we are reviewing our policies to accommodate that.
Okay. Can I ask you again, before the VC was appointed, what was her position in the institution?
She was a DVC academic and research.
Okay. Is it true that for the past 3 years, she hasn't been went to the institution? How true is it?
Come again?
Is it true that for the past 3 years, she hasn't been doing duties as a DVC, albeit that she was appointed as a VC? How true is it?
Well, I'm not aware she has not been doing her duties.
Okay. We'll furnish you with proof. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let's get to you, CFO. What is the name of the company that constructed the 200 beds?
The 2,000 beds.
The 2,000 beds, yes.
They firstly appointed is called CCB. They went into financial difficulties.
I just wanted to know the company. What was the view of the DBSA on the procurement process?
The DBSA raised concerns around, for example, the advert not having been registered with CIDB. That was not a requirement by our policy or in other regulations at the time. We appointed senior counsel to look at the procurement process, where it was cleared. And we initially appointed as a university, we jointly appointed senior counsel, ourselves, SMU and DBSA, the senior counsel that we jointly appointed cleared the process, and they then subsequently agreed to funding the project.
What was the amount of the initial project?
The initial project was supposed to be 533 million from a construction point of view. That 533 million was then reduced to 498 million because after consulting with the Department of Education and Training at the time, we realized that the room sizes were bigger than the minimum norms of the DHEAD. So we reduced the size. Then the contractor was also forced to reduce the amount to 498 million from 533.
The amount went up or it went down?
Initially, it went down because of the appointment and the sizes of the rooms. But subsequent, during construction, like I indicated, the rocks that were found
not telling the truth.
caused the escalation of 49 million from the contractor only. But I haven't gone to other escalations. When the contractor's costs go up, the principal agent that Royal Asconi has been referred to, who was responsible for the project management.
How much did it go up or down? Your initial appointment
value
was 600 million. It ballooned to 700 million. The Clear Choice Builders that was appointed, am I lying?
No, that may not be accurate through you, Chair. The initial appointment of PHS was 533 million. We can provide evidence to that effect.
Thank you.
Their
Can
final appointment
you
was for
provide evidence?
498 million.
Can you provide evidence? My last question, Chair, before I go down. Can you tell me about Sunset Africa Coach Lines? What is the initial budget of that tender? And why, if you've got that amount, why are the students paying 4% increasingly, whereas they are from the poor background and their multi-forces?
Thank you, Chair. It is an inaccurate assessment, Chair. I should indicate, I'm afraid. CCB, when they were the Sunset Africa, the bus provider, when they were appointed, the budget per annum is between 33 million and 40 million per annum. And in the last 2 years, their rates have not gone up. They have been kept stagnant. What is transpired through each Chair, which is the correct position, is that the university 2 years ago was subsidizing students to the tune, initially, in fact, 3 years ago, was subsidizing the transport fees. And then we
have you appointed them for 100
up.
million? Have you appointed them for 100 million, yes or no?
If you look at it over a 3-year period, Chairperson, I said the appointment was for 33 million. Cumulatively, it becomes
yes, you must know you are the CFO. Is it 100 million? If the outer years
over a period of 3 years.
Yes, I agree. We got the first year and the outer, which is 3. Is it 100 million? I want you to confirm.
That's correct, Chair.
All right. The last one. Why are you excluding more students when you are chairing a committee, or that committee that you have formed? Because it is putting more pressure and stress to students. Thank you.
Chairperson, factually, it's only 12 students that were excluded in our student data pools committee. Only 12 out of 154 that were considered. The reason for that is mainly they were academically not progressing, and some of them were foreign students who, by law, should not have debt owing to the university.
Thank you, Chair.
No. There was a question asked there which I just need clarity, Deputy Chair. You are saying what is the report that is coming on the 10th? What is that report?
It's the investigation report, Chair, on the anonymous letters that were received by your office in July, just forgot the date, and in September.
Who was doing the report?
The investigators that were appointed.
Yes.
It's Sefako Incorporated.
What?
Sefako.
Yeah. Okay. And what is the terms of reference there?
Honorable Chair, yeah, it's quite a long document.
You'll give it to us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I?
Honorable